1 Kings 17:14. What if your last handful of flour was the very seed of a miracle? The famine had stretched on for months. The sky above Israel was hard and silent, the ground cracked and lifeless. Streams dried into dust, and hunger stalked every home. Yet even in drought, God was still speaking. He told his prophet Elijah, "Arise, get thee to Zarephath. I have commanded a widow there to sustain thee." It was a strange instruction. A widow in a famine, someone barely surviving herself, would be God's chosen vessel of provision. But Elijah obeyed. When he reached the gates of the town, he saw her, a frail woman gathering sticks in the heat of the day. Her hands were rough, her eyes weary yet determined. He called out, "Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water, and bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand." She stopped and turned to him with sorrow. "As the Lord thy God liveth," she said, "I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel and a little oil in a cruse. I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die." Elijah's heart must have ached, but the word of the Lord was clear. "Fear not," he said gently. "Make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth." It was a moment of decision, faith or fear. The widow looked at her meager supplies, then at the prophet before her. Something within her, a flicker of trust, moved her to obey. She baked the small cake, gave it to Elijah first, and waited. When she returned to the barrel, the flour was still there, the oil still poured, and the next day and the next it remained. The impossible had become her new reality. God's promise had proven true. The widow's obedience unlocked divine provision. Every day she reached into the jar, she was reminded that faith, not fullness, sustains life. The miracle of Zarephath wasn't about abundance, it was about trust. God multiplied the little she had because she surrendered it to Him. What she thought would be her last meal became the beginning of many. This story isn't just about food in famine, it's about faith in scarcity. It whispers to every heart that feels empty, "Give what you have and trust what God will do." He is the same God who multiplies, sustains, and provides beyond what we see. The widow's handful of meal became a testimony to all generations that no life is too small, no offering too little, and no heart too weak for God to use. Sometimes God waits for your act of faith before releasing His miracle. When everything runs out, will you trust His promise or your supply? Subscribe for daily Bible stories to grow your faith.